Where do you see a lot more cases, especially within mental health and suicide, really pop up that you've seen over time?
I mean, it's kind of hard because it could really go either way. Just from sheer population, you would think city areas, urban areas, but I'm thinking I might maybe this is kind of outside the box thinking, but I'm thinking because it's not quite as crowded and because there's maybe not always as many things to either do or distract yourself with or other reasons, maybe not as many people. I'm thinking it might be in more rural areas.
Yeah, well, here's the interesting thing I'm seeing right now. I'm looking up the stats on, this is from the CDC, cdc.gov, and it's the stats of states with suicide mortality rates. You see that there are varying degrees of death rate and overall deaths in different states. What is it? Death rates could be high in one state, but their overall deaths could absolutely be can absolutely be lower. Like you are right in the fact that you said rural.
Yeah.
Here's the interesting thing. You see more states with more urban-like environments actually displaying higher deaths, but they have lower death rates. It's almost a paradox in that aspect.
It's because it's population based. It's just because of how many people are there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, of course the numbers are going to be higher. You know what I mean?
Here's another
overall.
Yeah, here's another factor that most people don't take into consideration too, and this is where we bring into the topic of diversity, not just amongst race, but amongst the LGBTQ community. You see a lot more suicide rates within those demographics of those who are not white or not straight, really. I mean, what was it? And I've had talks about this with many of my friends who are mixed race and have lived in urban environments. What is it? Mental health, mental illness actually is just not. It's almost like the plague amongst these communities. Like with Black people especially, like the idea being that if you got something wrong with you in the membrane, it's no different than having COVID, unfortunately. You think that it is this disease that you should shun someone away from. And I don't even know where that mindset even begins. It seems almost like, what do you call it? God, prehistoric or even volatile in nature in that aspect.
Well, I mean, if you really think about it, it's really not that ancient. And it's really shocking because we still have that stigma. I mean, I think it's only now, very recently, that people started speaking up about it. And, you'll see that it's not just in, white communities. It'll be in LGBTQ communities, Black communities, Hispanic communities, Asian communities, like everywhere, Baltic communities, like, they're all starting to, at least. It's it's a generational thing, I think.
It's also a pride thing if you think about it, because what is it? You think about these families having their own pride and their own ego, and then what is it? It's only been in the past handful of years that people have been more accepting of the LGBTQ community and more aware of mental health at large. And these stigmas on these communities that still going on today can be considered a blight or a black mark on not just the family record, but also amongst the peers of that community.
And it's due to sad misconceptions and very misguided traditional notions like that people, are put in these statistics of suicide and these horrible, positions that they're put in. A lot of people don't have their family as a result of these things behind, their back. And, I mean, it's lonely to begin with, you know what I mean, when you're in a position like that. But then to have other people just kind of shun you based off of that, it's even worse.
And the thing about tradition is the hard thing about it is it negates one of the six basic life processes as a biological organism, and that's adaptation. To progress, you need to adapt with the times and keep going. Not a lot, a big, huge chunk of communities, diverse or otherwise, simply don't have that.
I think a lot of it too has to do with, I mean, this is just my personal theory, but I think a lot of it has to do with the human fascination with death, or the fear of it even.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you know what I mean? Because like tradition is only a means of passing on what certain people did because they want them or their ways or them through their ways being remembered as time goes on and moves on, because ideals going away, to them that's the true death.